If young black people see him do on Oprah or CNN what he did to Roland, he will become the Black Messiah.
Right.
The Breakfast Club interviews, the Vlad interviews, and I was pissed off at Vlad because he chopped my interview up. He didn't do that with Mark Lamont Hill or the other scholars. He played their interviews flat.
Right.
Why not just play mine flat? Don't sensationalize my content. He was turning into some excuse my friend, clickbait, and I didn't like him for that.
Right.
There's an agenda behind him wanting to debate me.
Yes.
That supersedes his ego.
Yes.
It's financial. Yes. It's political. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't know who he connected to. Give me the full plate. Let me see exactly what you about. Now, if he can't, if Schultz called me right now and said, I want to debate you and I'm gonna give you $1 million to restore your school, let's get it popping. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go. But I am not going to debate a no-namer.
Right.
Because for me, he's a no-namer. I never knew him before Charlemagne. If young black people see him do on Oprah or CNN what he did to Roland, he will become the Black Messiah.
Right.
Let's do a case-by-case review of all the white folks who have been approved for business loans in 1 year. Just go to past year. And let's look at all the black folks who have been shot down. And let's look at whether there's any differences in equity, income, credit score. I think we all know what we're going to find.
Right.
It's no different if you bring me a black man with a white woman.
Right.
How does black boys seeing a black man love all up on a white girl and not a black one? How does that benefit us?
Right.
You bring me white Jesus. How does black people worshiping a white male image as their Lord benefit us psychologically and spiritually?
Yeah.
College, I know that's a hustle. Because you're going to spend 4 years in there. That interest is running every single year. You're going to come out. You're going to have to go back and get a master's. You're going to come out. You have to go back and get a doctorate.
Right.
Before you even get your first real job, you owe me $250,000.
Yeah.
He hates even more than that is a unapologetically African alpha male whose foundation is not mutable by the white power structure. In other words, when you say we want to destroy Dr. Umar, you can't go to no university, I don't work for him.
Right.
You can't go to no school district, I don't work for him.
Right.
You can't go to Minister Farrakhan, I'm not in that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Who? You can't go to the NAACP, he's not that.
Right.
You can't go to the Masons, he ain't one.
Right.
You can't go to the Elks, you can't go to the Greeks.
Yeah.
You can't go to a black church.
Right.
Who in the can we reach out to to pull Dr. Umar's collar?
Right.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Now niggas want to loon me to death. Salute, Loon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my man, Loon.
That's my man, too.
Both Loons. Old Loon, new Loon, both Loons.
Okay.
Yeah,
All ops must know it's up there and it's stuck there, nigga.
When it's up there, man, it's stuck there.
Shut up.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the fantasy sports platform that's changing the game for people like us. With Prize Picks, you can test your knowledge with picking over and under for your favorite player stats across a wide variety of sports. Think football, baseball, basketball, and beyond. So why wait? Jump into Prize Picks right now and bring more excitement to game day. Whether you're cheering from the stands or the couch, Prize Picks adds that extra layer of fun for sports excitement. Again, my slogan, why would you put something on the game when you could put something on the name? Let's get into those picks and start winning with Prize Picks today. IUTP code. Let's get back to the show.
The Breakfast Club interviews, the Vlad interviews, and I was pissed off at Vlad because he chopped my interview up. He didn't do that with Mark Lamont Hill or the other scholars. He played their interviews flat.
Right.
Why not just play mine flat? Don't sensationalize my content unless you're going to put it in a way where you leading credence to the message.
Right.
But he was turning into some fuck shit. Excuse my friend. Clickbait, and I didn't like him for that.
Right.
So then his people hit me up. They said, well, let's come back. Let's do another one. I fell back on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't come on there for that.
Right.
I came on there for a grown man interview.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I think those interviews show the power structure that you can't give him mainstream attention because it goes viral.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, the way it went, the ripple effect was crazy, man. Like it was everywhere, like you said.
I was amazed, brother.
Yeah, man. The only thing, because I don't give a damn because it needs to happen. like you have to be on these platforms, we need to build some other ones you need to be on, because those interviews are more important than Charlemagne asking somebody about who punched him in the face and why. Like I like that too. Charlemagne's my guy.
Right.
But it's an interesting thing over there with Charlemagne that I'm noticing. He has this guy he does a podcast with named Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, who came at me
a bunch.
A couple. Yeah, he got I saw one joint.
And it's a lot of nuance
to it.
Yeah,
he called me the Black Hitler or something.
The Black Trump, the Black Hitler, like all this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, listen. And if I play it to you, you're going to be like, what's up with this dude?
The one I saw was, it was too intense for somebody I don't know and never had a cross-off with. Schultz. What is it, the Brilliant Idiots podcast?
The Brilliant Idiots podcast. Okay. I've watched Schultz. I'm a fan of Schultz.
Okay.
But I've watched him garner enough nuts to start to even say these kind of things.
I see what you're saying. He's too comfortable.
Because of Charlemagne.
He's too comfortable.
Without that podcast with Charlemagne, without Charlemagne, Andrew Schultz isn't who he is.
Got you.
Charlemagne comes from the Breakfast Club. He brings all of us to his podcast.
Yes.
Which you're there saying stuff here and there, and we take a liking or not, or we just now recognize who you are. But this is a weird thing, and I wonder, and I want to ask Charlemagne that. I wonder if Schultz has affected the way he looks at you, because I know that he was impressed with you.
I think he still is.
Okay.
I think he still is.
Okay.
And I would say that because we do text from time to time.
Okay.
When I hit him up on the 4th interview, he was all for it.
Okay.
We just didn't make the ends meet. Here's what I'm gonna say about Charlemagne. Not to defend anything that is indefensible,
right?
Of course, but I would say that having met him, he's a lot more conscious and concerned about the state of the race than I would have thought before I met him.
And see, I thought that too, and I think that, but 2019, see. Back when I saw the Brother Polites and the Dr. Umars and the Farrakhan's and them going out to Farrakhan's spot, and even in this regular conversation, like I watch these guys because I'm a student of the game, and so what confuses me is that I know 100% because those episodes that you catch clips of when they talk about Umar Johnson, I catch the whole thing. So I listen and I see that Schultz gets him in a place where, like, and I'm gonna ask you to speak about this because this is a thing that he held on and he kind of stumped Charlemagne. Charlemagne didn't know what to say.
Okay.
The whole thing about the bank loan, like you can't.
Right.
You can send him back if he's Asian. You can send him back if he's. So Andrew Schultz's point was that's Umar Johnson is a crock of shit. Yeah. So this is what he's saying, right? Yes. He says you can't send an Asian back that's an American. You can't send these people back if they're Americans. Also, he says.
Did they not put Asians in internment camps in World War II who were American citizens?
See, I'm gonna let you
respond.
Feel me? I'm gonna let you respond.
They put them in concentration camps.
Right.
Asian Americans, they put them in internment camps during World War II right here in this country.
See, and Charlemagne or myself don't have that information.
Right.
Schultz, on the other hand, went to school abroad and stuff, so has a little bit more understanding of some of these things, so he's able to corner Charlemagne.
I got you.
And kind of put him in a place where, hey man, you know,
where he wouldn't be able to do that to me.
Exactly.
Here's the only reason why I haven't debated him. I need to make sure that I get more out of it than him.
Yeah.
For reasons you just said.
Right.
He's benefited from Charlemagne's platform.
Right.
I have a very strong following. Right. I can't afford for him to benefit from mine.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Because the European is all about exploitation.
Yes.
Even there's an agenda behind him wanting to debate me.
Yes.
That supersedes his ego.
Yes.
It's financial.
Yes.
It's political.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't know who he connected to. Give me the full plate. Let me see exactly what you about. Now, if he can't, if Schultz called me right now and said, I want to debate you and I'm going to give you $1 million to restore your school, let's get it popping.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go. But I am not going to debate a no-namer.
Right.
Because for me, he's a no-namer. I never knew him before Charlemagne, as you said.
That's how
I'm not wasting no time with no-namer if I'm not going to get something out of it.
Right.
Even if he pull up a $500,000, $250,000, I'm ready now. I don't need no prep. Let's go. But if you think I'm going to give you the benefit of my following, my platform, my position, and I ain't getting nothing out of it but the conversation with a nobody, no.
And I want to talk to Schultz too, and I'm going to ask him the tough questions because he needs to be asked. But I seen Tariq Nasheed do it with him.
I didn't know they had a conversation.
Oh, man. And he sat him down and he just kind of, him. Like, I mean.
Schultz got Nasheed.
Nasheed was saying great things, but Schultz, he's a comedian. So you have to know his mannerisms, his mannerisms and the way he's able to present things. He can make it seem a way. But you have that too. Without being Tariq is just kind of sitting there. Well,
he's not a scholar. He's not a scholar. He's not a trained scholar.
So there you go with the white supremacy. You know, so he's not. And he may not even know how he looked. But Schultz drilling at him. So there's this weird thing that I'm hoping, because Charlemagne is in a position to put people like you in front of our youth. So in a weird way, and just by conversation, I have to lean towards. He's being affected, man. I have to, just because, and I'm not saying clip wise.
I got you.
I'm talking 2 and 3 hours, because Schultz gets him in these places and because like he said, I don't have enough information.
Right.
And like he said, like one of the time he told him, he said about your Breakfast Club interview, he was talking about something, and Charlemagne said, dude, I didn't have the information.
Right.
Like he's this is what he does.
Right.
He's like, well, how didn't he know this or whatever? And I'll let you hear it after the interview, just so you can know, have a sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
What stopped Umar from being on these?
Here's where I'm at with it. To your point, which is an excellent point. The Roland Martin interview, when he tried to assassinate my political reputation, and I flipped it.
Right.
I think that interview may have hurt me more to get other interviews because I did so well with it. In other words, the power structure probably said, look at what he did. We sent Roland in there with 2 coons. I ain't going to say 3 because the third brother, he was all right.
Okay.
But Lauren Berg and Eugene Craig, they were coons.
Okay.
Roland Martin and 2 coons, but an entourage of 4, and they could not take down Dr. Umar. If he can do this to Roland, imagine what he'll do to Don Lemon, Wolf Blitzer, Conan. You see the Oprah. We can't. If young black people see him do on Oprah or CNN what he did to Roland, he will become the Black Messiah. See. The serious leaders, they never put them on mainstream TV. They never put them on mainstream TV unless they know they can control their actions or know they have to answer to somebody who can control their actions. They put Malcolm on TV, but Malcolm had to answer to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? And the Nation of Islam is not a political organization, so they didn't have to worry about them trying to make changes in society because they are religious. They're not political. You see? So they could put Malcolm up. Once Malcolm split, he was still on TV, but not as much, because now he has the freedom to do, and we don't need him giving out marching orders on our show. You see? You got to watch that. The ones who are always on TV, they're not a threat. The real ones don't get them. How many times you saw H. Rat Brown? On CNN.
You don't see it.
Stokely Carmichael a few times. But not on the regular.
I don't even remember.
Because the worst thing you can do to an organizer, somebody who's organizing to undermine your agenda, is to give them your platform to inform their people about how they can help them undermine you. That's why you'll never see me on. I think I can force it, though. As we continue in this work, and the power come, and the school come, they won't have a choice, because here's the issue with the white man. He has a need for power, but he also has a need to get paid. Capitalism and racism works hand in hand. The racism says Dr. Umar doesn't go on CNN. The capitalism says, do you know how many views we would get if he went one-on-one with Don Lemon.
Right.
If he does with Don what he did with Roland, do you know how many views we will get? Yeah. And then the racist comes back and say, yeah, you'll get 10 million views the first day.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
It affects
how many more black youth are going to be woke up? How many more black folks are going to go looking for him?
Right.
And that's the balance of the racism and the capitalism that the white man has always had to strike.
Right.
You see, which is why with the black comedians, they'll let them stretch out a little bit more with their political rhetoric.
Right.
Because they're comedians. They're not organized.
Right.
But the minute the comedian starts saying he wants to organize, they clip him.
I.e., what's the
I.e. Bill Cosby in jail right now because he tried to buy NBC or
Yeah. And what's the brother that died, man? I'm losing it. Activist, comedian, Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory.
Yeah. Shout out to Dick Gregory.
Shout out, rest in peace. He was a good friend of mine. You know, right before he died, I spoke in D.C. We were on the same card. We spoke about 3 times together. We did Boston together. We did D.C. together. And we did another city together. And the last time I saw him was at a D.C. lecture, black church, right? Mm-hmm. Excuse me. He never did this before. He waited. He had already spoke. Mm-hmm. He normally go. He waited until I was done. Outside. At his age. He waited to talk to me. I'm like, Baba Gregory, you never wait for me. I mean, we always been cool, but you never wait. Brother, we spoke. Outside. Till it got dark.
Yeah.
I want to say 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
Kicking it.
Yeah.
5-6 hours. Now, mind you, this man knew all my heroes.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Medgar. Personally. Malcolm. Personally. King. Stokely. H-Rap. All mines.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's telling me, Umar, you got to be careful. But when I look at you, I see them.
Yeah.
You know. And I'm paraphrasing him, but this is basically what he's telling me. He give me little tidbits. Watch this, watch this, watch this.
Yeah.
We only left. We would have been out there to the sunrise.
Yeah.
We only left because his driver said he had to make another run. He had to take him home.
Yeah.
When he took off, brother, I lie to you not. I told my brothers who was with me. I got chills.
Yeah.
I said, I don't think he's going to be with us too much longer. Him taking that time out to me was symbolic of him telling me.
Passing the torch.
I'm passing it. I got to go. Right? I knew all your heroes.
Yeah.
This is the last time I'm going to see you.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that you got my back.
Yeah.
Right? You on the right path. Keep on pushing. And you are there. It was almost like he was the go-between between Malcolm and me, King and me.
Right.
Definitely less than 30 days, he was gone.
Damn.
And when I went to his funeral, I was standing in line because his daughter called me to give me a ticket. He said, my father will want you to be here.
Yeah.
I'm standing in line to go inside the funeral. Packed, beautiful funeral, Stevie Wonder. It was all that. One of his friends came up to me and said, I just want you to know that me and Baba Dick Gregory had a lot of long conversations about you. Yeah. And he loved you, Dr. Umar.
Yeah.
He loved you.
Yeah.
And I flashed back to that. That's why he took them hours with me, because he saw something in me that he saw in them. And the message I got from him is, you ain't got to prove nothing to me.
Right.
I know you real.
Right.
That's what I got from him. You ain't got to prove it to me.
Yeah.
I didn't walk with the best.
You can't trick him.
You can't trick him.
Ain't no tricking. No
6 hours, man.
Yeah.
Everybody was gone.
Yeah.
And it was just us.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Man, that's electrifying.
I'll never forget it. He was gone within 30 days.
Damn.
And I felt it.
Yeah.
I said, why did he never did that with me before. To take hours and he was just going off. I wish I could have taped it. Because he was going off the top, just giving me all he could give me before he rolled.
Yeah, he was pouring into you.
I got him on my altar too.
That's real. Man, that's deep.
Yeah.
So clarify your point on the whole banking thing.
Yes.
And that situation.
Black people can easily get loans for college, cars, a little tougher, but houses. We routinely are denied loans for business. A lot of that is because of intellectual racism or what they think we can achieve. But the bigger piece of that is what? Economic liberation. They don't want you economically liberated. I'm not going to finance your freedom when I brought you to America to exploit your labor.
Right.
What am I going to finance your freedom for? When I give you the car loan, I'm investing in your debt. So when you drive that Mercedes off the lot, it's worth half of what it was. When I give you that house loan, I'm banking on the fact that you're going to get a variable mortgage that they're going to spike up on you. So you ultimately going to have to foreclose on that crib, and I'm going to get it back and sell it to 10 more black families.
Right.
That's a hustle if you're not
big
careful.
Hustle. Yeah.
A big hustle.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
College, I know that's a hustle because you're going to spend 4 years in there. That interest is running every single year. You're going to come out. You're going to have to go back and get a master's. You're going to come out. You're going to have to go back and get a doctorate.
Right.
Before you even get your first real job, you owe me $250,000.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Most of the loans we get are for our continued economic incarceration. The business loan is for your liberation. And that's why you can get a $250,000 med school loan, but you can't get a $50,000 daycare loan.
Right. Now Schultz's position on that was with the car loan, the reason it's easier to get has nothing to do with race, which, we know I'm living that. I got 5 properties. I got equity in all of them.
Yes.
I don't owe anything on
Exactly.
anything.
Woo!
Like, I'm 100% ownership. I went to get a loan, and they told me no.
And you got equity.
I make $15,000 a month from 2 houses.
Woo!
They told me no. Knowing this money's coming directly from the state of Tennessee.
Exactly.
They see it coming into the bank.
Exactly.
And they told me no.
What other reason could there be?
I don't know.
Because if they give you the loan, they empower you to challenge and compete with other white males for other economic agendas.
Right.
That's what purely racism.
And that's what I'm saying.
Purely
me and my
racism.
uncle sitting in there like, you guys see $15K come in here every
Easy.
month like clockwork. From the government.
Racism.
This comes straight from the state.
Racism.
And they said no. We like, yo, what?
See, the economic racism is more important than the intellectual racism, the social racism, the militaristic racism, i.e. police genocide. Why is economic racism the most important racism? Because there can be no black power without the black dollar. There can be no black power without the black dollar.
Facts.
If we don't kill the black dollar, we can't kill nothing else. That's
Right.
why they focus on that so much.
Right.
All we got to do is stop them from getting capital in large amounts, and we can kill the whole black renaissance.
Facts. Now, to clarify, now Schultz's point on that was, well, the reason you could get a car loan, the reason you can get a home loan, the reason you can get these other loans, it has nothing to do with race. The reason is because they do have the ability to sell the car if you can't afford it. They do have the ability to sell the house. But with a business loan, they can't sell Nobody Beats the Wiz because you don't get the property, you just get the business. So you're operating a business which has no value in the marketplace is what he's saying. He's saying that, hey, Nobody Beats the Wiz, which is a business. If that falls and goes out of commission, there's nothing you can. There's nothing that they can.
If that be the case, we step away from that and say, let's do a case-by-case review of all the white folks who have been approved for business loans in 1 year. Just go to past year, and let's look at all the black folks who have been shot down. And let's look at whether there's any differences in equity, income, credit score. I think we all know what we're going to find.
Right.
You feel me?
Right. No,
that is an argument you cannot win.
Right.
Because racism is the original intent of America. America was built on racism. Do you know why Thomas Jefferson declared independence from Britain? Why was there even a Declaration of Independence? Do you know why? Because Britain had already started entertaining the conversation of liberating their slaves in their Caribbean islands and in Europe. Yeah. So the colonists, Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, Madison, they said the British are going to end slavery. Our whole purpose for creating America is to exploit slave labor to build a new country.
Right.
If we remained under Britain as a loyal subject and they kill slavery, they kill our whole economic empire. Contrary to popular belief, they did not declare independence on July 4th, 1776 for their freedom, but for your continued servitude. That's facts. If Schultz pulls some money out, I'll spank his white ass. I ain't got no problem. I'll eat his food.
And I'll
eat his food, but he gonna have to pay me because we not equals.
Right.
He got you. If it was Michael Eric Dyson or somebody, we equals. We can go, and I respect Dyson, although we on two totally ends of political spectrum.
Right.
But you're not my equal, fam.
And I think it's time for Schultz to show us that he's doing more than taking from this culture.
Ooh, culture vultures.
Yeah, because
culture vulture.
we welcomed him in because we got that much respect for Charlemagne.
Yeah.
So you stand next to a man that we fuck with.
But
so
we got to be careful because that's never reciprocated.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not going to do that for him.
That's what I'm saying.
I give you another one. I ain't got nothing against him. DJ Khaled. I got nothing against him.
Yeah.
But how can an Arab eat from black culture like that?
Yeah.
We've never been able to eat from Arab culture.
Right.
You're not going to invade Arab music and become one of the top. Eminem.
Yeah.
Eminem, no black person is going into a white industry and being put up as one of their greatest.
Right.
You don't get that in nobody else's culture. Only black folks. It's mostly our fault though. We allowed them to come in and exploit this. Vlad is another one. How do you let
Vlad has been responsible for? At the end of the day, man, these kind of people are in these positions. Like you said, it'll be rough for me to.
And they have no loyalty to the culture.
That's what I'm saying. It
all about purely for personal and
Right.
economic and political gain.
Right.
There's no loyalty to the culture. Meaning, if something better came along, which required them to turn their back on the culture, they do it in a heartbeat.
Right.
There's no loyalty there, and you can feel it.
And that's what I think.
The whole Schultz thing was a one-stop shop. In other words, he
discredited-
went at me for a couple times and he left. I thought it was a thing of the past.
Because this is the thing. This is what he finds f***ed up, right? 15 minutes they were talking when he was trying to flip it on Charlemagne. And he was saying like, well, if I were you, man, I'll be responsible with my platform. I wouldn't put someone that hate gay, that hate.
I don't hate.
That's what I'm so but he's saying that to penetrate Charlemagne's mind like, oh, but Charlemagne standing on the square in the moment.
Right.
But I know in the back of his mind, he's like, okay, we are in cancel culture. Like, I don't know if this is dangerous, if it's whether or not he's introducing doubt into a mind that I know is upset.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give Charlemagne the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But your point is well taken.
Yeah.
And I may speak with him about that next time I see him.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna speak with him about
and I'm sure he'll hear this and they'll probably speak about it. Because I'm telling you, there's something there. Every time he brings you up, he discredits it on a level where it's like it's almost like if I go home and tell my woman I want to eat chicken tonight, and she, oh my God, chicken's the worst thing. At some point, I'm gonna stop bringing up that I want to eat chicken. Yeah. It's unnecessary. Yeah. We're friends. We're supposed to be boyfriend and girlfriend. There's no need for us to argue about. So we'll eat something else.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he's pushing.
You know what I think a lot of it boils down to? There's nothing a white racist male hates more than an unapologetically African alpha male.
Yeah.
And what he hates even more than that is a unapologetically African alpha male whose foundation is not mutable by the white power structure.
Yeah.
In other words, when you say we want to destroy Dr. Umar, you can't go to no university, I don't work for him.
Right.
You can't go to no school district, I don't work for him.
Right.
You can't go to Minister Farrakhan, I'm not in that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Who? You can't go to the NAACP, he's not that.
Right.
You can't go to the Masons, he ain't one.
Right.
You can't go to the Elks, you can't go to the Greeks.
Yeah.
We can't go to a black church.
Right.
Who in the hell can we reach out to to pull Dr. Umar's collar?
Right.
Nobody.
Exactly.
And my power base is my people.
Yeah.
This is critical because when you look at a lot of our hip hop artists, although they're from the hood, some of them still in the hood.
Yeah.
Their power base is the major music industries, the conglomerate.
Right.
And since most mainstream hip hop is purchased by non-Africans, they require some degree of complicity because you don't want to alienate your white base.
Right.
Now, we listen to the hip hop more than white folks.
Right.
But we're able to get it through different venues that don't require us to pay for it. You follow what I'm saying? It's not that white folks are listening to hip hop more than us.
No.
We're able to get it without paying for it. You see?
Right.
But in terms of purchasable consumers, the whites are buying it more than us.
The marketplace.
The marketplace.
Right.
So they can be controlled to a degree because you have a white constituency, no different than a black politician.
Right.
My constituency is 100% black.
Sure is. 100%.
You see, I ain't got no Arab constituents.
Yeah.
I ain't got no Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah.
I ain't got no Chinese.
Yeah.
My power base, to some degree, think almost like me.
Yeah.
How do you shut him when he's standing on millions of people who believe what he believes?
Yeah.
You can't. That's the issue with people like Schultz because they're so used to making one phone call
and killing it.
Yeah.
So what he understands is because he's a psychologist. So what he understands is, see, this dude he's stealth. He's got.
And you know what else I learned? He studies me.
Yeah, he studies
meticulous.
Yeah.
Study.
He knows.
Yeah.
But and so he's a psychologist. So when he talks about it, he puts it in a way where, like I said, if you're listening and you don't know any better, or you don't know for yourself, or you don't go research for yourself, he puts it in a way where it's like, whoa, whatever he was just talking about, that must be true. Yeah. Like, that guy must not know what he's talking about. Yeah. You know, and so I just think it's something there that just needs to be addressed. But your message, that's what I was going to say. What I think is going on is that he understands that. Well, not only him, people, because I'll take it off shows. Some people understand that, so what they know is, if I can get to Charlemagne, or if I can get to... Because I can't affect him.
Get to the gatekeepers.
Exactly.
Get to the gatekeepers.
If I can get to him and say, well, he's LGBT, he hates gays, man. Or he's one of those guys that are like...
assassinate the character, make the host feel ashamed, and kill access to the platform.
Because what he's also said about the school, he said, hey, listen, because Charlemagne was trying to defend you. He was like, that man, he's not going to be teaching the kids to hate gay people. And he was like, oh, so you think the man who's spitting all this rhetoric all around the world is going to have a school and then stop spitting the rhetoric? See, he puts them in these.
But here's what I say. Because when I speak at universities, I'm going to get a phone call. Because black LBGTers are going to tell them I hate gays. And they're going to contact me. And this is religiously.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask them one simple question. I have more videos on YouTube than any living black scholar in the world.
Yeah.
Can you find me a clip where I said I hate or that I advocate hatred of gays? Show it to me. Can you show me a clip where I said I hate white women or I advocate hatred of white women? Me telling black men that they don't need to be with white women ain't about hating white women. It's about loving black women. Me being against LBGT ain't about hating LBGT. It's about loving the black family. You see, don't confuse the mean and the method with what your interpretation is. And that's what they do. So they'll try to put their interpretation on my message. You cannot do that. Prove through my words your position that I'm a hater.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's all Charlemagne had to hit him with.
Right.
Give me something he said that you feel substantiates your claims that he hates gays.
Right.
And I've spoken on LBGT a lot. So you shouldn't have no problem finding evidence.
What is your position?
My position on LBGT is this. I love all black folks. I don't care what they are. Gay, straight, crooked, whatever. Crazy. I love all black folks.
Right.
Right? But I reserve the right to disagree with any actions, positions, lifestyles, or agendas that are not in the best interest of African people. Which is to say that I'm politically pragmatic. As a pragmatist, you bring me something and I ask you, how does this benefit me? Like a vegan or a vegetarian, they are dietary pragmatists. When you bring them a meal, you know what they're going to do? They're going to look at it and say, there's no nutritional content in this hoagie. I'm not going to eat it. You follow what I'm saying? They're going to look and say, well, this carrot got a little bit of fiber, but this kiwi got more. I'm going to eat the kiwi instead of a vegan and a vegetarian. They are dietary pragmatists. They're not eating it if there's no nutrition in it, period.
Right.
It must be of benefit and nothing in it better be of detriment.
Right.
That's how I am politically.
Okay.
You bring me homosexuality, I'm going to ask you. In a community where most men are incarcerated or dead, in a community where most black women will never be married, in a community where our sisters are the last married and the first divorced, how can introducing same-sex marriage amongst men benefit our people? You see that? No hate. No hate. How does black boys seeing black men be sexually intimate with each other benefit their manhood training? Pragmatism. Right. It's no different if you bring me a black man with a white woman. Right. How does black boys seeing a black man love all up on a white girl and not a black one, how does that benefit us? Right. You bring me white Jesus. How does black people worshiping a white male image as their Lord benefit us psychologically and spiritually?
Right.
I'm pragmatic.
Yeah.
With all things.
Right.
Not just one thing.
Right.
I'm pragmatic with all things.
Right. Right.
I've been on LBGT shows. They invite me on,
Okay.
and we have respectable dialogue.
Right.
And I asked them the same question. It's never been answered. Can you give me one benefit? I'm just looking for one because I'm a pragmatist, so there needs to be benefit for me.
Right.
Can you give me one benefit of the free expression and practice and promotion of homosexual and lesbian lifestyles in our community? Can you give me a benefit?
And they can't answer that.
I haven't been given an answer yet in 20 years.
And so what you're saying is that people tend to twist that.
They twist my message in order to render it so ridiculous
To
that
be ineffective.
so people don't listen any further.
Yeah.
See, Schultz's agenda is to stop people from listening to my message,
Right.
because he knows that it's so politically potent. So what I'm going to do is misrepresent what the man is saying and make it look so diabolical that when I tell people what he stands for, they will be gullible enough to believe what I said and not go and see for themselves.
Yeah, and that's what Charlemagne told him. Hey, did you even watch the interview? Well, he said, man, I watched the first 8 minutes and knew he was full of shit.
He's
I
jealous.
couldn't even get through it.
He's jealous.
Yeah. So
that's jealousy.
That's a whole, man, that's a shit show. But moving out of that into police genocide.
Yes.
Let's spend some time.
Police genocide. The reason we got such a strong return of police genocide under the Obama administration, because it's been with us since we've been here. The slave patrollers were the first police.
Right.
Remember, no state has a national security force until slavery ended. There's not even a mature federal incarceration system till 1865. So the prison system was literally made for us. With that being said, the reason you saw so much of that come back during the Obama years is because white people who are politically uneducated, I'm talking about poor white trash, who don't have a political education. They're like poor black folks don't have a political education.
Right.
Poor white trash interpreted the Obama victory as a message that white people were losing control of America. That's why white folks bought all the guns and all the ammunition. There was more guns and ammunition purchased during Obama's years than any other president in the past 25 years. Because poor white folks don't know no better. They think a black face means black power. Poor black people don't know no better.
Right.
They think a black face means black power. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the reason the police went crazy is because putting a black man in the White House to uneducated whites actually meant a changing of the political guard from white to black. They didn't know Obama was just a stooge. He was just a token. He was just an agent of white power. They didn't know that. Rich whites know that. Educated whites know that. Poor whites, which are the bulk of America, they didn't know that. So the police, largely being working class, a step above those poor whites you see, they have the same mentality. So the best way they could exercise their disgraceful views on the Obama situation was to attack black folks, knowing he would do nothing about it. Let us be clear. Had they knew Obama would speak up and stand up for black folks against the police, it wouldn't have got out of hand like that. They knew he would do nothing about it. And one of the most cowardly moves of Obama was after Freddie Gray had his spine snatched from the back of his skull up in Baltimore. The very next week, guess what this Negro does? This Negro peon, Barack Obama, signs a blue shield law that protects police against any type of resistance from the people that they arrest, making it punishable, life in jail and all this other stuff if you harass or abuse the police. In other words, a black boy just got killed by the cops. Instead of you making a law to protect the civilians from the police, you signed a bill to protect the police from the civilians. That was Obama's message to white America, that I am on your side, not black folks. Once white folks saw that the president of the United States, I mean, let's go to the legal now. The president of the United States, according to American jurisprudence, is the chief law enforcement officer in the country. You follow me?
Right.
Obama is the commander-in-chief of all military forces. The Patriot Act brought the police under the military. So Barack Obama is the number one cop. And the number one cop won't say or do anything about his employees taking the lives of our defenseless people, men, women, and children. Obama is the reason that thing got out of control. And our support of Obama is the reason it got out of control. Because the power structure said, look, we're letting the police kill their people every day. Obama ain't said a word, and black folks won't even challenge him on it. Once they saw that we would let Obama get away with the defenseless murders of black folks, they went all in.
Do you think, because I know you were saying that he has to face criticism, do you think he faced any by the time he left office from us?
Barack Obama is untouchable. Two people you cannot talk about in our community, white Jesus and Barack Obama. He's untouchable, which is dangerous. You know why? Because that means we still haven't even learned the lesson that the Obama presidency should have taught us. That a black face don't equal black power.
Right.
And that white supremacy is white supremacy regardless of the hand that carries out the agenda.
Right.
We still haven't learned it because we're too emotionally connected to the situation. You're not supposed to fall in love with politicians.
Period.
This is a big mistake of black folks. We fall in love with politics. If you run for mayor of Nashville, guess what? If I don't like you, I'm not going to vote for you.
Yeah.
You might have the best economic plan for my people. You might have the best plan for the schools. You might have the best plan for the jails. You might got the best plans for the homeless. You might got the best plans for Fisk and Tennessee State. You got all the right ideas. But I don't like you. And because I don't like you, I'm mixing personal with business. Look at that. Because I don't like you, even though I agree that everything you're saying is right. Because I don't like you, I won't vote for you. Yeah. And that is black people's political immaturity, and it has been haunting us ever since the civil rights bill.
What do you think that's from?
I think a lot of it has to do with the way in which black church has evangelized black politics to the point that, remember, it's the pastor that brings the politician
I've seen that.
to preach in the church to get your vote. Right?
I've seen that.
Now, the church claims not to be political, but the church is the most political institution in the community because in order to get elected, you got to get endorsed by who? The church. Yeah. So the pastor brings the politician in. So you got two pimps sharing the pulpit, the pastor and the politician to serve the people up at the voting block, you see. So the church is ran on emotion and imagination. In order to be a good pastor, you must be a very good communicator of emotion and imagination. You see?
Yes.
So the politician automatically is being introduced to the black congregation through the pastor. That automatically means that the way in which we engage our pastor, emotions and imagination, we engage our politician, emotion and imagination, with one extra added detriment or side effect, and that is the pastor, as a representation of God, is beyond reproach, questioning, or accountability. You see? And if the politician stands next to the pastor, isn't he also beyond accountability?
Because can't nobody else stand up there.
Exactly. And that's why the two most untouchable people in the black community is the elected official and the bishop.
So
the two people who should be doing the most are asked to do the least.
And you know, like I say, church for me, you know, like I say, I've heard you say before, is that they only ask you to show up and give hope. So they don't invoke any kind of
No action.
Yeah.
Pay and pray.
Yeah.
Same thing with the politician. Vote in hope. Preacher, pay and pray. Politician, vote in hope. Dr. Umar comes in on a Garvey train, and I say, that ain't bad. But if it's not coupled with action, it is worthless.
Right.
That ain't bad.
Right.
But if it ain't coupled with action, it's worthless.
Right.
So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to still let you pray and pay, and I'm going to still let you vote and hope.
Yeah.
And once you're done praying and voting, we're going to come and do some work.
Yeah.
And then the pastor and the politician must shoot me down.
Yeah.
Mind you, I didn't shoot them down. I said, you can still
ahead.
do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But when you're done, come see me.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they endorse me the way that I endorsed them? I'll tell you why.
Right.
Because their constituency working with me, my constituency working with them doesn't put me out of business. Their constituency working with me puts them out of business. Because guess what? Once she get a husband and once he get a job, they ain't coming back to church.
Yeah.
The church is the hangout for single black women and unemployed black males.
Yeah.
Once he gets some economic empowerment, his Jesus can go home with him.
Yeah.
See, the pastor depends on poverty to keep his population.
Yeah.
Now,
they preach it better than all.
Exception to the black bourgeoisie churches. Because, you got the churches where everybody in there make $1 million. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the masses of black churches are peopled by the poor.
Right.
You see, the minute you ain't poor no more, you don't need it no more.
Yeah. Because you in there and they keep talking about you gonna finally make you something. Just
Exactly.
hold on.
Exactly.
You thinking, well,
And the politician go out of business too. You know why? 60% of Americans vote. I'm a political science major. 40% don't. Let me say that again. Half of America don't vote. Black, white, rich, poor. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Poor people know the politicians ain't thinking about them. Rich people know we own the politicians.
Can't be affected.
The only people who vote are middle class and working class. Poor people don't matter. Rich people don't care.
Right.
Do you feel me?
Makes sense.
So if you empower black folks economically, guess what? They ain't gonna go vote no more, or they might, but it won't be the central tactic in their arsenal of liberation, because they got control of. Rich people ain't got the vote because they own the politicians. Poor people ain't got the vote because they know they don't matter. 40% of Americans don't vote. This is not a democracy.
Yeah.
America is not a democracy. First of all, the word democracy is not in the Constitution. It's not in the preamble. It's not in the Declaration. It's not in the Magna Carta. What is it in? It's not in none of your 50 state constitutions. How did the word democracy get left out of every? Because America is a republic. Democracy is a rule of the majority. This is the rule of law. This is a gangster operation. United States of America is a bank pasturing itself as a nation.
Yeah. So when you talk about
the solution, everybody knows the solution. Everybody's scared to say it. Go back in our history, and this brings up the praying and the voting again, by the way. Are you aware that every significant change we got in America, we paid for it in blood? Can you name me one significant change in Black America, 400 years now, that you got praying or voting? Can you give me one? Everything I know came through blood. Civil right, you got out of slavery, blood. 13th Amendment, blood. 14th Amendment, blood. You had to protest, go to jail, get killed, get beat up. You understand me? 15th Amendment, blood. Civil Rights Bill, blood. Voting Rights Act, blood. Everything you got through blood. You can't name me no damn vote that ever changed anything for Black America. Let's go to police genocide. Right now, we in a pre-campaign season, right? Can you name me the Democratic candidate who has stated on record that they have a solution to police genocide? Can you name me an independent candidate who stated they got a solution to police genocide? Can you name a Republican candidate who has stated that they have a solution to police genocide? Nope. And do you know why? Because they know, like we know, what the solution is. And you cannot say it on TV. The only way Black America is going to get the police to back off of killing Black America is Black America going to have to go to war with police, just like you went to war with the KKK, just like you went to war with the Confederate soldiers, just like you went to war with the police back in the Black Power movement, just like Dr. King and them went to war with white racist governments. Even though they claim to be nonviolent, there was nothing nonviolent about the nonviolent movement, because Dr. King faced off with dogs and water hoses and police. There was nothing nonviolent about nonviolence. You see?
Right.
Show me where we got anything without violent confrontation. The only way you're going to stop police genocide, the only solution, Black men going to have to make up their mind, not another one. And the next time there is another one, we got to get our weapons and we got to march straight to the police and we got to face off. And you know what that means? Just like the Civil War. Mass casualty on each side.
Yeah.
Mass casualty. I don't want it. You don't want it. But I know that in order for our grandchildren's grandchildren to live free, it has to happen. Until they lose blood, ours will never stop flowing in the streets.
Deep. I mean, because, you know, you meet force with force, man.
You meet force with force.
Yeah, and that's
what did Frederick say? My ancestor, Frederick Douglass. Power concedes nothing without a demand.
Yeah.
It never did and it never will.
Yeah.
He said the problem with Black folks is you want rain, but you don't want thunder.
Ain't gonna happen.
You want crops, but you don't want to rip up the ground. You want the ocean, but you don't want to deal with the waves.
Yeah.
You got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
What did Nat Turner say? Nat Turner said, when the Spirit revealed itself to me, it said that this you must do. And whether it comes rough or smooth, whether it comes rough or smooth, you got to do it however it comes.
Yeah. See, that shit's so deep. Like, people gotta feel that. People have to understand what that means and wrap their brain around.
And the attorney that interviewed him, Thomas Gray, I believe he was an attorney, at least he was an author. He said, Nat, didn't you say God sent you visions to lead this raid? Nat said, yeah. He said, well, and by the way, you could download the whole Confessions online for free. Nat Turner Confession, 1831, Thomas Gray. He said, well, all your homies is lynched. They killed Nelson. They killed Hart. They killed Sam. Will the executioner killed. All your soldiers is killed. They lynching black folks all over Southampton County. He said, well, doesn't that mean your Lord has failed you, brother? Nat Turner looked at him. He said, nah, because even Jesus Christ had to be crucified.
Facts.
Look at that.
Facts.
Even to the day that he died, Nat Turner. And then when they took Nat Turner across the street to get lynched, they said, do you have anything you want to say? Nat Turner said, nah, hurry up and get on with it. And then they said when they put the noose around Nat Turner's neck, he didn't show no fear. His body didn't even shake.
He was a gangster.
You talk about ride
He
and
was
die.
a gangster.
Nat
He was
wasn't
the real-
playing.
yeah, he was the real.
He said even Jesus had to be crucified.
Yeah.
And where was Nat Turner killed? Jerusalem, Virginia.
Wow.
Jerusalem, Virginia.
I ain't know that.
Black Christ.
Man.
The real Black Christ.
That's deep. That's some deep shit.
The other day, my mother and I was watching the movie 300. You saw 300.
Mm-hmm.
The
Sword movie.
Yeah, the Athenians and the Greeks, right? Leonidas took 300 soldiers to go meet that damn Arab that was running the world at the time,
Right.
Darius or whoever.
Right.
I'm watching that movie. You know what I said to myself? I said, this ain't about no damn Greeks. I said, this is Nat Turner. This is Nat Turner. We're no more than 60, taking on the entire United States government. He said, I'm not waiting for no vote. I'm not waiting for Jesus. I'm not waiting for no damn reparations. I'm not waiting for Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton. My people going to be free now.
Yeah.
You see that?
He went
Nat
on
Turner
with it.
said now.
Yeah, he wasn't gone.
Now.
He went with it.
He went with it and killed
what,
everything.
when was
they
this?
saw.
The year?
1831.
Just picture that.
1831.
Man.
Mind you, he was born 1800. A few days after Nat Turner was born, they lynched Gabriel Prosser. Remember, Gabriel Prosser was going to lead the largest slave revolt ever known, Richmond, Virginia. He got snitched out, two coons. He got snitched out by two coons. And then 1822, 9 years before Nat Turner, you got Denmark Vesey down in Charleston, South Carolina. His was going to be even bigger than Gabriel's. Got snitched out by two coons.
God.
So Nat Turner seeing this, said, okay, I can't tell too many people.
Right. Right.
Because these coons is loyal to their master.
Right.
So he only told those, Nelson, Hark, Sam, there's 4 or 5 of them. And then they brought the other ones in. And the baddest soldier he had was Will the Executioner. Will wasn't playing. Remember, Nat Turner, it was agreed will strike first death. He had to go kill his master first. They said, since you the leader, you got to prove your loyalty. Strike first death. Nat Turner hit him. He didn't die. Before he can even say nothing, Will came with the battle axe. Crack the skull. Now, mind you, Will wasn't even one of the originals. But Will ended up being the main one. Will was no joke.
Getting at it. Yeah.
Will wasn't no joke.
Yeah. Why they don't talk about him as much?
Nat Turner, because Nat Turner and Marcus Garvey are very dangerous. Because Nat Turner shows what a true Christian man will do for his people if he really believe in Christ.
Yeah.
See, they don't need that in black church.
Right.
Because if you go because remember now, Nat Turner was a pastor. So you go to Nat Turner was a pastor of the church. Okay. So you go take Nat Turner, you say, Pastor, look what this man did in 1831. We wasn't even considered people yet. What you done done?
Right, nothing.
Oh, Nat Turner's example exposes the whole Christian church. And then Garvey example. He the only significant black leader we had after slavery who didn't use religion.
Period.
Everybody gave you religion except Marcus Garvey. He said, this ain't no religion. This ain't going to be no Muslim thing. This ain't going to be no Christian thing. This is going to be an African thing.
Yeah.
And his movement is the only one that included black people on every continent. Garvey is the only leader in modern history who you can say was actually leader of the race.
Yeah.
Because every significant population of blacks in the world was represented in the Garvey movement. That's not true for nobody after Garvey. Nobody.
Yeah.
Global leader of African people without a single penny from white folks. He buying ships. Black Star Line over here. Black Star Line. No money from white folks. One time, one of the members came to him and said, "Mr. Garvey, we got a rich white man. He want to donate. He believes in what you're trying to do." Marcus Garvey said, "You tell him to keep his money. This is a black man's movement."
Ooh,
Never took a penny from another race.
Strong man, that boy. He was a strong man.
Yes, sir.
Now, so down here, just speaking about police genocide, we had a guy here, Daniel Hambrick, R.I.P. Daniel. The police killed him, right? So he jumps out of what they said was a stolen vehicle, and he's running. And I would say he's about 50 feet from the police officer. The police officer now makes a decision to say, "Damn, this young man's fast. I can't catch him." Pulls his guns out and he murders him. Shoots him in the back as he's running. Shoots him. Boom, boom. They just
socially relevant.
There needs to be some structure.
Yes.
In
where that's automatically attended to as a priority item.
Yes.
Separate from
your
music.
Yes.
As a black man or woman. I'm glad you mentioned these names. Meek Mill, Kardashian. Because as you know, Meek and Jay got the criminal reform thing they working on.
Right.
Kim Kardashian is running around with her little "I love black people and want to get them out of jail" movement. Right. Here's what we got to pay attention to. First of all, with Jay and Meek, it is my hope that they focus on systematic change as opposed to what Kardashian is doing. What Kardashian is doing is what white folks do all the time. Yeah. They never attack the causes of the problem. They only deal with symptoms. So Kardashian runs around and she'll get that grandmother out.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm glad she's out.
Right.
She'll go get that woman out.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm glad she's out.
Right.
But they're symptoms of the problem.
Right.
They're not the problem. They're the consequences
of
the problem. What are you going to do to systematically change the law, the process, the system so this won't happen again?
Right.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah. And I tell Meek Mill to his face, I tell Jay-Z to their face, and I like them both. I support both brothers.
Right.
If y'all do the Kardashian thing, I'm going to brand you as a hypocrite and a phony.
Right.
Don't tell me that y'all helping individuals get out of jail to the exclusion of systematic change in the criminal justice system.
Right, right.
I'll give you an example with Barack Obama. His last year in office, what did Obama do? He commuted the sentence of hundreds of people in jail, right? Started letting them out.
Yeah.
Black, white, letting them out.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got out.
Right.
But please don't be distracted by the fact that Obama did nothing to systematically change the problem so that don't happen again. Because guess what? That grandmom, that Kardashian got out because she didn't change the system. There'll be 10 grandmothers to replace her. That young sister, that Kardashian got out because she didn't change the system. It'll be 30 more sisters to replace. If Meek and Jay are going to follow the Kardashian stunt of dealing with individuals but not systems, individuals but not systems, individuals but not systems, then guess what? Every brother you get out of jail will be replaced with 100 more. Every person Obama let out his last year of office with those commuted sentences, they've already been replaced by hundreds more. Never let nobody play games with your intelligence enough to make you think that progress has been made because one or two people got out of jail. You see, that's the same logic that America uses when black people say we're economically devastated. America will say, well, wait a minute, you got Jay-Z. You got Bill Cosby, you got Tyler Perry. Those are individuals. And you don't judge progress for a people based on individuals. And the only reason why they get away doing that with black folks is because we are so individualistic that we don't care about the group. We don't care about teamwork. We're not interested in the collective. So you can run that hustle on us because at the end of the day, I don't care about him or her. I only care about me.
Yeah, and that's a real thing. That's definitely a real thing. And when I look at, Meek and Jay, and even with Jay doing this whole NFL deal, he's facing a lot of backlash about it. Have you
I haven't looked at it intensively yet. I will. But here's my early position. My early position is simply this. Jay-Z has done more than most mainstream rappers put together when it comes to issues of social justice.
Right.
The Khalif Browder documentary, I'm not even including that.
Right.
Okay? But I do know that when the protesters and the activists was arrested during the Michael Brown and the aftermath of the Michael Brown assassination, he paid for them to get out.
Right.
When they was arrested in the aftermath of the Freddie Gray situation, he paid for them to get out.
Right.
I've seen where he's went to Africa and helped finance certain types of infrastructure in the villages.
Right.
Did he do everything? No.
Yeah.
Did he do enough given his economic position? Maybe not. But that's not to say he won't.
Right.
I recognize that where Jay-Z is on the economic
too.
totem pole, he cannot move as freely as you.
Yeah.
You might can't move as freely as me.
Right.
But you understand?
Right.
So you have to respect where people are in their personal journey and not superimpose your value system on them. It's no different than if a sister walked in here with a blonde wig on her head.
Yeah.
She knows I don't agree with that. I ain't got to say it.
Right.
If a brother came in here with his white wife, he knows I don't agree. I ain't got to say it.
Right.
But the fact that she wanted to interview me says she trying.
Right.
The fact that he came in here with his white girlfriend and said, Doc, I know you don't agree with this, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
You got to respect people when they try.
Right. And my whole thing with Jay is, like I told my friends and a couple of guys when I was talking in the studio last night, I'm like, to have $1 billion, to be $1 billion guy.
$1 billion black man.
Yeah. Black man. He's the only person you're going to ever see
do anything.
Do that.
Yes.
You'll never see nobody else do that.
No.
You will never see. So for me, and I don't speak on things until, like I say, they play out. So it's like, I'm gonna give this guy the benefit of the doubt for a second.
Yeah. Because what I said, and I don't know if this is his thinking or not, but what I said is, how do you know he ain't trying to get in here to finally get one of these NFL teams? Because from what I understand, we don't have a black NFL owner
at all.
What if he trying to be the first? And if he becomes that, maybe he'll give Kaepernick his job back while he still got a couple good years.
Right.
You don't know the man's strategy.
Right.
And our problem as a people, you saw it with me with the school, is we want to know publicly.
Right now. What you
publicly.
Doing? Yeah.
We want to know on YouTube. We want to know on Facebook.
Yeah, come on.
Snapchat, all controlled by the enemy. We want you to tell us publicly what your plans are. You damn fool. If I tell you what my plan are, it will be destroyed before if Jay-Z told you what he was really up to, he'd never get a chance to implement it.
Right.
See, we got to recognize something. What a leader says to the media may not be the same message he shares with you. It doesn't mean he's sold out to the media. Mm-hmm. It's meaning he's thinking strategically because he has to protect his agenda.
Right.
And if he opens up the agenda, the art of war is deception.
Exactly.
The art of war is deception. You must deceive your enemy until you achieve the victory. Right. I'll give you a quick case. Dr. King. A lot of people don't know this. Did you know that Dr. King didn't believe in nonviolence?
No.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did not believe in nonviolence.
Yeah.
You know what they did? They went to Pennsylvania and got Bayard Rustin from Chester, PA, my neck of the woods, and brought him down to Alabama and said, you have to convince him that nonviolence is the way we got to promote
this
situation.
Agenda. Yeah.
King was not for it. He said these crackers will never bend to it.
Yeah.
Bayard Rustin said, if you do it any other way, you can get killed. King said, I'm going to do this because strategically it's the best way to go.
Yeah.
Not because I believe in it.
Right.
Most people don't even know nonviolence wasn't Dr. King's idea. That was Bayard Rustin. King said, y'all crazy. Y'all brought me from Atlanta for this. And guess what? The entire time, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference had a stockade of weapons.
Wow.
Because they thought that there would come a day where the nonviolence would break down.
Yeah.
And they would have to defend
use
themselves.
them. Yeah.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Our people want you to be so matter-of-factly in public.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Give the enemy your whole plan.
Yeah. It's crazy.
To pacify a couple who ain't gonna support you anyway.
Yeah, ain't gonna do nothing but clap twice and go on to something else. And the crazy thing is we are so like you said, we're searching for, man, and I don't know if any other race does this, man. When we finally get a guy like a Jay-Z, or like a Umar, or like anyone that's in a position to be looked at as doing right or good or for us.
Yes.
We search that room for a dirty sock, man.
Oh, yes.
They searched that fucking room for a dirty, like with.
And why do they search the room for the dirty sock? Part of it is self-hate, because they need to assassinate your character. But why do they need to assassinate your character in addition to the self-hate? Because they need to be able to live with themselves for not following you. They need to be able to justify why they didn't get behind you. They have to be able to explain to their children and family and friends why you did not support this brother who was doing something good for the people. They did it with Dr. King. All the Negroes who were scared to march against the police. Oh, he cheated on his wife.
Yeah,
you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know why they fed? It wasn't just to satisfy the appetite to destroy the character of another black man.
Yeah.
They needed an excuse to justify their lack of participation.
Yeah.
The reason they need to find fault with me, they need an excuse why they don't donate to the school.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It ain't just about making you look bad.
Right.
Making you look bad helps me defend the fact that I did not support
Defend
you.
my position.
Yes.
Right. And so even with Jay, I'm like, yo, y'all just chill.
Chill.
The
You got to see it through.
Yeah, and the coach is saying, oh my God, look what he did. The first thing he done, he came out, like, because now they said, well, he's selling T-shirts and selling something. My thought is, okay, the first thing you need is capital.
Yes.
So...
And not only that, I'm looking to see how many jobs are being made for black folks off of that, because y'all going to watch the games anyway.
Yeah.
And the same people condemning Jay-Z at home watching NFL games
every Sunday. And it's the craziest stuff. So I hope and I pray that Jay-Z does the right thing. Again, he has a track record, so we're going to give him the benefit of it. You
got to give him time to operate.
Right.
Now, once this NFL scheme is over, I can judge him in hindsight,
right?
Because he's done,
right?
But as long as he's in it, I got to see it through. Yeah. And we are too quick to condemn and criticize black folks, but we will give white folks a million chances. Yeah. We've been giving them chances for 400 years, and we still got 400 more years of chances for white folks.
Right.
But we won't even give a brother a half a chance.
That's
him
crazy.
And Beyonce, when she stood up and did that tribute to the Black Panthers at the Super Bowl. She did that on the anniversary of the Black Panthers. I said, if she don't do another thing for 10 years, I didn't say another thing forever, but for a couple years, she good with me, because half of them would have never even thought of that.
They wouldn't have done that.
They wouldn't have done. So J and B cool with me.
Yeah. And with Kanye and Kim, with Kim doing her, getting this guy, that guy out, this guy out. Kanye, man, he had a flip, and I think, what you always speaking about, like medication and ADHD.
I hope he ain't on meds, but I think he is.
Yeah, he is.
The meds take your mind, brother.
If
Kanye is on meds,
he's been on them.
If Kanye is on meds, and he's probably on antipsychotics, mood stabilizers.
Yes, antidepressant.
That kills the section of your brain responsible for ingenuity and creativity.
That's what
and
he
imagination.
Said. Yeah.
It's no different. You in the music business,
right?
I know you probably could think of a couple brothers, local or Maine, who done smoked so much weed. They flow ain't there no more.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah.
They flow ain't there no more. We like, damn, it's done. You done cooked that part of your brain that gave you that word play.
Yeah.
And you see them, they trying to, and you like, it's done.
It's over.
I don't know what happened to it. It's done.
Yeah.
Y'all smoked it away.
Yeah.
You gotta protect your brain and you gotta protect your balls, because you only get one of each.
Yeah. So he, like I said, with him, it was a moment where he was on his meds, and when he said the slavery was a choice thing and all of that,
all that might have been inspired by the medication. That's why I didn't pay it no mind.
That's what it was. But he said that at that time he was off his meds, so he had made a conscious decision to be like, hold on. They're like, I'm getting fat. I'm no longer myself. Mm-hmm. I'm getting off of this shit. So he stopped taking it. Now, what that does is fire back up those.
Yeah, it's called a rebound effect, where everything that you experienced before you took the med comes back 50 times stronger.
So now he's just blurting shit out. He's not articulating it good.
See, remember what the meds do. All psychiatric meds, are designed to force the brain to do against your conscious will. So you take a boy with so-called ADHD, which is a joke, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow. He's choosing to be hyper. He can sit down if he wants. He likes what he's doing, right? Because he won't make the conscious decision to sit his ass down, you're going to give him a pill.
That's going to sit him down.
That's going to sit him down, whether he wants to or not. Do you see what you're doing? You are eroding his executive function. Executive functions are the aspects of consciousness that allow us to control when we slobber, when we chew, when we urinate, It erodes that. So once your executive functions have been taken away from you too often, you're no longer in control of yourself. It's the pill. You see, so you're saying stuff you don't mean. You're slobbing out the mouth, don't even know it. You peeing on yourself, you defecate. That's where that comes from, because the pill basically
shutting that shit down.
The pill steals your liberation. In other words, the pill introduces slavery on a neurobiological level. You're now no longer a physical slave to white supremacy. You're a neurobiological slave to white supremacy. The chemical is the handcuff. The chemical is the handcuff.
So how do they, my thing is, how do they get that shit to the kids? Because if it can affect the Kanye West 30 some odd years old, 40 some odd years old in that way, what is that medicine doing to a 9-year-old? I've seen him give it to, I think the youngest,
3-year-olds.
Yeah, 6,
2-year-olds.
It's like
they don't care.
Yeah, like what?
It's all about money, first of all, because all the drugs are publicly traded in New York, Wall Street, right? Remember earlier when I talked about that timeline, CIA dropped off the crack in 1980. Well, guess what? The American Psychiatric Association dropped off ADD 1980, same year. That they started drugging the adults, they started drugging up the kids at the same time. You see, but it's all done with parent permission, though. See, in order to get the pills, you need the evaluation. In order to get the evaluation, you need the parent's signature. Parent don't sign, no pills, no eval. So we are complicit because we are doing what these white folks tell us to do. When somebody comes to you and say, get your child evaluated for ADHD, your answer should be no. And they're going to say, why not? And they're going to say, number one, I don't have to explain to you because I'm the parent. That's where they need to stop. Right there.
Yeah, that's
right there. Yeah. Because I'm the parent. That's why not. But if you want to go further, ADHD don't exist. It's a damn joke. You want to go furthermore, I'm not giving my child drugs, and that's the only solution y'all got.
Right.
See, that's where I come in at.
Right.
Do you believe in crack for kids?
Right.
Because if you don't believe in crack for kids, you don't believe in ADHD.
Right.
Because once you get the label, the only option is the dope. That's it. And then I get parents who say, well, I just wanted to see if he had it. Didn't I just tell you it don't exist? They can't prove it.
Right.
They can't prove. It's
a thought.
It's an idea.
Yeah.
It's an idea made real by the fact that you decided to medicate your child.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, I know some women, right, because of the economic structure and with the black man not being able to provide in certain circumstances, I've seen women with 4 and 5 children basically take a child or two and look at that as a paycheck.
Yes, and that's true. They exploit the child for Social Security supplemental disability income.
Right.
But guess what? She still ain't the problem. She a symptom.
Right.
You know why? Because if Dr. Umar Johnson, a certified school psychologist, never diagnosed her son with that emotional disturbance, she couldn't do it.
Right.
You see, somebody gave her a label.
Right.
You see? Right. So she's still a symptom. Right. And what the system does is they'll try to turn the sister into the problem and say, well, they auctioning their kids off for checks.
Right.
Okay, they are, some of them. But guess what? Could they do that if your psychologist didn't auction them off first with a diagnosis?
That ain't real.
Exactly. Primary responsibility, secondary responsibility.
Okay. We're going to wrap up in just a second.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. What's that? The book of the diagnosis,
DSM-5.
You said pedophilia was left out.
Check this out. When they first came out with the DSM-5 about 2 years ago, a year or two, right? It came out where pedophilia was listed as a sexual orientation. Some white person saw it and sounded the alarm. And then the spokesperson for the American Psychiatric Association came back and said, we made a typographical error. Do you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
They tried to get away with it until somebody called it, then they fixed it. But according to the DSM, pedophilia, if the child is 16, it's not pedophilia. They're already legalizing pedophilia. Yeah. And if the child is 13 or 14, a person got to be at least 4 years older than them. Yeah. Yeah.
So they
define
creating
pedophilia. If memory serves me correctly, and I didn't bring my DSM with me, and I should have, I believe right now the DSM defines pedophilia as sexual attraction to prepubescent children. Did you hear that? Prepubescent. So do you know what that means? If your daughter going through puberty, and she might be 13, she might be 14, but if she going through puberty, it ain't pedophilia. They already legalized it, in my opinion. And they not done. They're going to keep on legalizing it because you got the organization, the North American Association for Man and Boy Love. Look it up on the internet. North American Association for Man and Boy Love. They want it totally removed. They said it should be an orientation. It should not be mental illness. I told people it was coming. You got to remember now, the same way people looking at pedophilia today is how they looked at homosexuality in the 1970s.
Right.
Homosexuality was a mental disorder in 1970.
Yeah.
And they took it out in 74, 75. People thought that would never happen. Ain't it legal today?
Yeah.
I promise you pedophilia will be totally legal in the next 10, 20 years.
That's deep. That's deep.
This is a cultural, it's a cultural genocide. Yeah. Not just physical.
Yeah.
They hitting us everywhere. It's a because they coming to you and say, listen, we know this ain't how Africans live.
Right.
But this is how we do it.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Most white folks, I don't believe, agree with it either.
Right.
But it is still nonetheless a product of their cultural heritage, Greco-Roman culture. That's where it came from. Every philosopher was a homosexual. Plato, Aristotle, Epictetus, that's what they was in. Roman Catholic Church viewed the women as less than clean. That's why they preachers don't get married. So there has always been a disdain for the female energy in European culture. Not in African culture. You come to our culture.
We love them.
Okay? We believe in equal.
Yeah.
The man can't survive without the woman.
Right.
In our culture, the woman is given such a position that when you become the king, you have a queen mother who can unseat you if you don't do your job right. You look at our deities, look at most of the masculine deities, they are born of a feminine mother who gives them the right to have that power, which is why in African culture, wherever there's a queen, you see the queen mother over there because feminine energy was first. God created feminine energy first, and then he introduced the male. So we never had no gay because at a certain point, homosexuality can be considered a total rejection of feminine energy. Lesbianism can be considered a total rejection of masculine energy. At the basic non-sexual level, it is a rejection of your opposite. Well, that's a big problem for African people because we believe in a balance of all things.
Right.
That's our culture.
Right.
For light, there's dark.
Right.
For the sun, there's the moon.
Right.
For water, there's the land.
Right.
For the yin, there's the yang.
Right.
For the man, for the woman. And if that is the essential building block of creation, if you disturb that, you disturb the entire universal order.
Right.
That's why we oppose the homosexuality.
Yeah.
But we can still love the homosexual.
Facts. Man, like I say, this has been a very great interview, man. I really appreciate you coming by. Anything you want to leave the people with?
Yes, for the people out there, get in contact with Dr. Umar Johnson, drumarjohnson.com. I got a new podcast site. Only one podcast is up right now on ADHD. Okay. And that's unapologetically African.com. And of course, we spell Africa with a K. Donate to the school. Please donate to the school. We're trying to raise $1 million to get this school ready. I would love for next school year.
Yeah.
You can donate, mail your check or money order payable to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware. I repeat, FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. If you ever need to talk to me, you need a consultation about your child, education, or mental health is what I do. You can reach me at 8444-Dr. That's 8444-Dr. or Dr. Umar Johnson at yahoo.com.
And before we go, I want to say congratulations on the school. I know
Thank
it was
you.
a hard journey.
Oh, it was a hard journey.
Yeah, I watched it.
February 7th, 7 days before Frederick Douglass' birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he might have shifted that.
Yeah. And I saw, before we go, I want to ask you about this. The family of him said
that was not the family.
It wasn't the family.
On Roland Martin, when he read that letter, that was not from the family. That letter came from one in the family who doesn't occupy any official position with the family.
Okay.
He's just a jealous Negro.
Right.
Period. That's it.
Right.
Who said that I wasn't related to Frederick Douglass.
Right.
I'm not even mad at him. You know who I'm disappointed in?
Oh.
Every other member of the family.
Right, for letting it.
I've been to the family reunions.
Yeah.
Y'all know my name is on the tree.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Any one of them could have called him up and say, brother,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know it like we know
And
it.
they're still tearing at you. It's still pulling at
But
somebody
because
for what?
a lot of them don't agree with my political
Okay,
views,
that's what it is.
they let him go at me.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't go to no more family reunions
Yeah.
no more, because I'm like, any one of y'all could have stopped that.
Yeah.
And y'all chose not to.
Yeah.
So I'm done with all
And
y'all.
you the loudest voice for they for
Oh,
the,
of course.
for the,
Well,
for the
that's the
ancestors.
jealousy, because here's my thing. I'm related to Frederick Douglass by blood.
Yeah.
By blood.
Yeah.
The woman and man that raised him, Betsy and Isaac Bailey, those are my grandparents like his. They his first grandparents. They're my seventh grandparents, but we come from the same loins.
Right.
I rep Garvey. When most people think of Marcus Garvey, they think of me.
Right.
Does that upset
That's what I'm
Marcus
saying.
Garvey Jr., his son? No. Does that upset Dr. Julius Garvey, his other son? No. They love the fact that I'm keeping their father's legacy alive. They ain't never said, oh, he don't speak for my father.
Right, right.
But here I am related to Frederick Douglass.
Right.
Blood.
Right.
And you got Negroes hating.
That's what I'm saying.
But the Garvey family don't do that. I ran into Marcus Garvey's cousin in Austin, Texas. He couldn't wait to give me a embrace and some love.
Yeah. Those two names, you're the loudest voice.
Yes.
Period.
But I'm going to tell you why they hate. I'm going to tell you the difference. There's people in our family who want to be considered the official authorities on Frederick Douglass as a way to make money. Do you follow what this is about? It's about money.
Yeah.
In other words, they want to get speeches to go talk about Douglass. They want to get grants to make.
Right.
You see,
Right. And clearly you're not doing it. You're getting enough speeches.
ain't nobody ever called me up and said we want to pay you to come talk about Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Doing it because it's dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
My reputation is purely off of my own work, not my relationship to Fred.
Right.
But because I big him up so much and I'm so associated with the name, if they do want somebody to talk, why would they get anybody but me?
Right.
And that's why they angry, because they feel like I'm blocking their economic power.
Right.
It's about cash.
Right. Well, with that being said, man, I know for a fact in hip hop, in rap, which is we control the cool.
Yes.
You are the loudest voice in regards to that. Yeah. Those two names, there's nothing that we can, there's not even close.
Right.
That we know. I'm talking about the boys listening to the
I feel you.
You know, they can change some things.
Yes, sir.
We don't, when we hear Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, we're going to say Dr. Umar Johnson is where we hear that from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so even today, you spilling all this stuff about those guys, we don't hear that anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no other scholar that I know of that we're going to hear be able to even do that on a level like that. Because again, the inflection and just the passion, all that, that combination is why you're special. You know what I'm saying? It's why you're able to go in and out and float in and out to these cities and countries, and people gravitate to that, man. That's a very, very unique combination you got, man. And I want to tell you that personally, I don't meet a lot of guys, younger or older, that I'm can say I'm impressed with just the way you're put together. You get what I'm saying? And that's a real thing. I can make some money. I don't know how much of the information I can retain. Right. You know, because, man, you doing that, you got to be very sharp. But again, I want to say thank you for coming out, man. Hopefully tomorrow y'all have a great time. Again, anything y'all need while you here, I don't care what it is. Let me know. I'll send it.
Yes, sir.
No matter what it is.
You coming through? You gonna slide?
Yeah, I'm gonna slide through. I'm gonna slide through, mess with y'all for a second. But anything you need, I'll send it. Again, we signing out. Like, subscribe, comment, FOGFO TV. It's up there, podcast. It's another great episode. Dr. Umar Johnson. Peace.
FOGFO TV. What?
Hey, it's your boy Looney from It's Up There Podcast. Thank you for watching the video you just watched, and make sure you subscribe by hitting the button you see on the screen, or go to the next video by hitting this right here you see on the screen. Big It's Up There Podcast.